When I first saw Clair Obscur Expedition 33 during the 2024 Xbox Showcase, I knew this one would be special, and now that it's finally here, it's getting the praise it deserves. But how do you get the best experience on PC? Well, in this video we'll look at the optimized settings, striking the balance between visual quality and performance. Welcome to Gaming, guess who I am and how the French would pronounce it? Well, attrape ta baguette et allons vite à lumière. Note that in this video we'll only look at the optimized settings themselves. In a link above the video, or in 2 weeks if you're watching this video right away, I will go and compare all the settings to their different levels, so you have an idea why I chose these settings as the optimized ones. But now, the settings. And when setting up the game, I started by having a look at which DLSS model to use. If you have an Nvidia card, you probably know all too well you can switch between the default DLSS model, the CNN model, or the new transformer-based model, but should you? And well, looking at performance, you shouldn't, because the CNN model performs best. Switching to the transformer model, you lose about 6 to 7% in FPS. I do think the transformer model is looking a bit sharper, so if you have performance to spare, make sure you use the transformer model, but otherwise don't bother with this and use the normal CNN model. I did went for a little ghost hunt, but this is the worst ghosting I found. However, this happened with both DLSS models, so switching DLSS models will not solve this. Luckily, it's rare to see ghosting like this. Well, let's go to some benchmarking, see how my optimized settings performed. For benchmarking, I floated around in the world a bit and started a fight. And for some reason I decided the fight had to end with a parry, which took me, let's say, more than 4 tries. Turns out I'm not exactly an elite gamer on the Expeditioner difficulty. Still, the game looked great and the combat was fast, exciting, and those timed dodges and parries really brought the turn-based action to life. Really cool stuff. Well anyways, after that fine display of parrying from my side, let's have a look at the results of the benchmarks. High finishes at 74 FPS while looking great. Epic finishes at 58 FPS. Putain! That's not a solid 60 FPS. Anyways, with a VRR display you might be fine, but most people will probably want a stable 60 FPS. Now that's where the optimized settings come in, and honestly I think they look better than the high preset. Now I tested my optimized settings with global illumination set to epic, and I tested it with global illumination set to medium, so the optimized settings with the GI set to epic had 70 FPS in the benchmark. So we lose about 5% in FPS compared to the high preset, but trade in some high settings for epic and some other highs for medium. And of course we have the GI set to the epic level here. The optimized settings then, 74 FPS, the same as the high preset, but again we switched some things around which make the game look better for those 74 FPS. For my videos I actually only have a look at the visuals of the game, of course, which is a shame because the audio or music in the game is so damn good. Just wondering why we don't have these kind of settings for audio as well. Would be cool to set the music to the low quality to win in FPS but only hear one piano play. While setting the audio to epic would give you a whole orchestra, but just too little FPS.
Clair Obscur,
Think that would be an even bigger struggle than graphics settings, but the optimized settings, let's go over those. So go to the graphics menu and there you want to set the preset to epic. I found there's some kind of bug where setting the preset to low, for example, sets some kind of base low level. So if you use the preset low and set everything to epic, then you still have a very limited field of view, for example. Things pop in way close. So therefore it's important to set the preset to epic before we set the rest. Then the scaling type. If you have an Nvidia card, use DLSS. If you don't have an Nvidia card, you are bound to use XeSS or TSR. No FSR for this game. In the past I tested these scaling modes, but these days I just select DLSS on the performance level. As in all previous tests I found that the performance level is delivering the best performance to graphics ratio. But I would say use what you usually would in any other game. DLSS in performance sets the resolution scaling to 50%, XeSS uses the balance mode to set the resolution scaling to 50%, and TSR uses the low option to set the resolution scaling to 50%. Max FPS I've set to unlimited, so use that or set it to 60 FPS. VSync. If you have a VRR capable screen, make sure VSync is turned on globally, then leave this setting disabled, and in all other cases I would say turn on VSync here. Display mode, active monitor, yes, choose something wisely. Screen resolution 3840 by 2160 of course. And then we leave everything as is until we arrive at the rendering. Cause this is where the magic happens. Everyone says it's their bedroom, but no my friends, rendering settings, that's where the magic happens. But that magic doesn't happen at anti-aliasing, because this is not in effect when using DLSS or HESS. So I left this setting at epic and didn't check it with PSR. Shadows, we set those to medium. Global illumination. So depending on how the game is running for you, I would say set this to medium in case you need more FPS. Leave it at epic if the game is running fine. Generally, I don't think you'll notice this setting being lowered, but when you're inside building or caves, you might notice some weird light flickers. For now, we'll set this to medium. And set reflection to high. And by the way, we have multiple shadows, but a single reflection. Anyways, the post-process, I would leave this one on epic. Texture we're also leaving on epic. I think you'll be fine with 8GB of VRAM in this game. But Nvidia, don't take this as an excuse to release video cards with just 8GB these days. Well, all the rest of the settings we set to high, so visual effects, foliage and shading. And there you have it. The game running at optimized settings. Gameplay you see at the moment is with the global illumination set to medium. Think that looks really great already. It's a very cool game, beautiful music, cool battle system, and the story gripped me right from the start of it all. So make sure to check this game out. If you have Game Pass, it's on there, so go make sure to play it. If you don't have Game Pass, check my links below. You can buy it through a link and support me doing so. And beside that link you can find these settings in the descriptions as well. And then of course make sure to watch my next video where we dive into all those settings and see what I do at different levels, low, medium, high and epic. Cool stuff. And of course, thank you for watching. If you found this useful in any way possible, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on all those settings. Have a good one. Houdoe.